What's up, everybody? I am back with another very dark reaction video uh, discussing beautiful females in gaming. And I just love her takes in it, and I do highly encourage you guys to check out her channel. I want to make sure I give props when it's due. Before I continue, please like this video. The like button has been acting up fairly recently, so I'm not sure what's going on. So please check it out and press that like button just to see if everything is going smoothly. Share this with your friends. Follow me in the links in the description below to check out my other content, like my video game videos and my reaction videos, and comic book reviews, movie reviews, etc. And so let's hop in and see what's her take on beautiful females and rejecting modern politics. Cause outrage based Knights Path devs attack. Oh yeah, I forgot about that game that I had on the list of games I really want to check out. But let's see what Vara has to say.
Snowflakes out there that freak out anytime a beautiful character pops up on their screen, or anytime a developer says that they want to leave politics out of their creative process. And right now, A Knight's Path, an upcoming indie game, is the target of the cancel mob simply for these reasons. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, last year, I actually had done an interview with the lead dev of Knight's Path. I will link that video down below, but really great guy, really cool game, and I have very high hopes for its upcoming release. But they recently shared a brand new trailer of this experience, recently showed off the work and the progress that they've made, and while most gamers are saying that it looks really freaking awesome, there are quite a few snowflakes online who are extremely upset by beautiful female characters being in this experience. But to top that off, a very simple statement that they made on their official X. Now, you already know the cancel mob is desperate to find a new target. They do not care if you are a video game developer. They do not care if you are an author. They don't care if you are a YouTuber. They will attack you if they believe that you...
You know, I just saw the Xbox. It's not like the packs or anything like that, but it's like kind of a studio showing off a few games like Fable and all sorts of stuff. They just showed off what was it, Beast of Reincarnation? Yeah, that's coming up this summer, more than likely July at the latest, and it looks phenomenal. And they show off at least like roughly a minute of gameplay, which thank goodness, because most of these things don't show off the actual gameplay. Needs a little polish here and there, but it looks freaking cool. And it has because they collaborating with some Japanese developers and stuff like that, and they have like a beautiful looking female lead that is traditionally, universally beautiful, and it just like invites more people in to want to play more, because some people just, it's escapism. You don't want to play a character that looks like a slub that we see day to day. Well, look, go into a fantasy world just to play as a beautiful or handsome looking character that is eye appealing, eye catching. Sex sells. That's a catchphrase for a reason. And it's usually the uggos out there that seems to be like up in arms about this. Look, you already got your Concords and there's a couple other games. The name escapes me, but I know because I'm thinking of it. but I just can't think of the freaking title. But you got your concourse out there to play all the live long day. You're gonna play your non-binary characters all the live long day, all that stuff. You have your thing. You're just mad because it isn't like the masses. They isn't like gravitating towards the thing that you like, because you take it as some kind of personal attack. Because you can't self-regulate your own freaking emotions like an adult, and just acknowledge the fact that some people ain't gonna like your stuff. There ain't nothing against you as an individual. It's just that most people of the world don't identify or acknowledge or want to cater to that small, minute of a demographic. Okay? We don't want to play a non-binary slub chick that has like a side cut off hair, mohawk thing. We don't care. At most we're indifferent. We don't mean we hate you specifically unless you get all butthurt about it and try to boycott or go on these tirades, or just try to send death threats or whatever, because like some people just don't care, or they criticize, rightfully so, to certain things that it's just ridiculous. This right here is the norm. Sorry.
Will be an easy target, and that has happened here, and it has not worked out for them. So like I said, they've put up a brand new trailer. It's gone over
and as Vara mentioned in a different video, some of these people who are complaining about beautiful people or hetero demographic in certain media formats like video games, they're never going to be satisfied. Some of them, small minority in the LGBTQ, those very hardcore ones who typically are the loudest, got mad at the Marvel Rivals devs because, like, why you don't have more queer representation in your thing? It's like you're never satisfied. You just want to, you want to make sure you had a seat at a table, but you're trying to take over the table entirely. And because anybody raise an eyebrow and questions, why are you taking up the whole table? And then you want to throw, oh, you're just an xenophobe, and you think that's going to shut down the conversation right then and there because you want to be morally right. It's like, no. Okay? You don't need to encroach on every little thing on the freaking planet. Some people need to have their own stuff. We already had our thing. We want to embrace our thing. Your stuff is over there. You do your thing over there. Okay? Stop, because even if somebody out there grants you, like, okay, well, just start throwing in crap all willy-nilly, but you wasn't going to play those games. You're not going to read those comics. You wasn't going to watch that movie. You ain't going to watch that TV show. You weren't going to care. You just want, wall-to-wall rainbow flags, wall-to-wall female boss babes, just to have it. Just to, so you can feel good about yourself, so you don't have to make any changes of your own. And the overwhelming majority say the nay. And now you're butthurt because you're not getting your little way because you want to act like a child.
Really well with people, and it's really no shocker to see why. The trailer highlights so many amazing elements of the game. It is bright and colorful in some sections, especially with some of the armor. You have this world that feels pretty lively visually. A lot of the buildings and like the textures seem really cool, and so far this game seems extremely promising, and that's what gamers are responding to, is the fact that this looks like it is going to come out and be an absolute indie banger. Just on their official post alone, it's got over 2.5 million views, 19,000 likes to 853 dislikes, so very positive ratio. Though after this had happened, Somebody said, I hope you'll have some LGBTQ representation in the game. And Knight's Path responded very simply, we care about gaming and fun, not modern agendas. Very simple statement. Not controversial at all, but this has caused so many people to freak out. And again, Knight's Path is just saying they don't want to go into this experience forcing a certain ideology, don't want to push some modern agenda onto people, and, well, that has not made these outraged individuals very freaking happy. As you can see, there are
and that was the standard. Okay? You can ask. Nobody's stopping you from asking that, hey, do you think you can add, well, I think a long time ago it would have been no issue to ask. Like, it would be cool to have, like, a gay person in this thing, whatever. And back in the day, these developers would probably like, yeah, we'll take it under the advisement in good faith, sure, because everything was operating under good faith. But because certain people in these hardcore LGBT space in the community gotten too brazen and try to push their stuff onto every little thing and forcing people to accept it under the threat of being boycotted or losing money or getting canceled or whatever, they pretty much been getting their way. But now it's like, you overplayed your hand and everybody's calling you out on it, and it's not pulling up your crap anymore. It's like, no, we're not. Okay, go play something else. You don't have to play our game, which is the responsible thing to respond with. Like, you don't have to play our game. We'll probably take it under advisement, but more than likely we're not going to put none of that stuff, because there's a agenda behind the ask. It isn't just the ask out of good faith. It's like me saying, like, do you think you can put a black male in this game? Now, a long time ago, that probably wouldn't have been like a big deal to ask. But now it's like after Black Lives Matter and all this other stuff, all this like agenda stuff, now people have to second guess why they're asking the question. Because they don't know if you're being sincere with this question without anything, any malice or agenda stuff behind it. Now, it's like, okay, I can't trust just the basis of the question alone anymore. Because if we're just kowtowing to this, now we gotta kowtow to this demographic. This now all of a sudden some non-binary Muslim woman in Arkansas or something like that want to feel seen, and they're gonna start like making freaking demands. At this point, it's a demand. It's not even like an ask anymore. They just want to feel seen, and this is a medieval knights type of era, which more than likely is just going to have primarily white people, more than likely straight white people in this kind of thing. Not too different from the Expedition 33, which is primarily a French driven characters. Sure, yeah, Loon, who's clearly Asian, and who's that? I forgot the tarot card wielder. Clearly, she's like mixed with something, but primarily it's all French oriented characters, and they'll need to have like, well, sure, there was like some NPCs that they're black, but they're primarily French. They'll need to keep adding like a whole slew of every demographic known to freaking mankind. That's the biggest problem. It's like you try to treat it like a college campus in San Francisco, and not everything is like that in the world, and nobody needs to have that in in any type of media format known to man. Sometimes things are going to be primarily black. Sometimes things are going to be primarily white. Sometimes things are going to be primarily Asian. that's fine. Okay? I don't want to look at a Jackie Chan film, an older one that's not Rush Hour. I don't expect, every other person to be got a whole group of black people just to say like, have like a black person in a Jackie Chan film every time. Like, no. I expect primarily Asian. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I expect.
Tons of people that are saying things like thinks LGBTQ plus aren't realistic in a medieval setting, but includes dragons and snails the sizes of dogs. First of all, they never said that LGBT plus people like aren't realistic and aren't going to be in the game at all whatsoever. They simply said they don't want to push a modern agenda. And because people make requests, and if they fulfilled those requests by, I don't know, dumping a bunch of LGBT plus relationships into the game, that would be forcing a modern agenda. They're simply saying they're not going to do that. Taking a look at the quote tweets, people are saying things like, I was never going to play this game anyway, and know nothing about it otherwise, and after reading these tweets, I now just assume it's a money laundering scheme. You didn't even watch the trailer, you haven't listened to what the developers have said, and yet you're coming to this conclusion and you're pushing false information on...
Yeah, clearly they operating off of feelings because they didn't read or listen. Because there was no hate behind it. It's like, we're not pushing any, modern stuff in a fantasy world centered in a medieval Europe setting. Because it'll take you out of it if you got knights in shining armor talking about, women's rights or something like that. It'll be weird. Okay, fantasy or not, it's still have like a backdrop of a medieval Europe setting. So we gotta utilize, like that purview of that setting. If you bring in anything else after that historical period and try to apply it to that setting, it'll feel off, not organic whatsoever. It would be no different from that Assassin's Creed Shadows. Getting like some non-binary Asian person to hit on this black guy. Like, do you want to be Assassin's Creed Shadows? Because if they cater to this demographic, they're gonna turn out like Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Social media simply because you don't like the fact that these developers are not pandering to you. It is insane. The concept of devs behind a night game being homophobic. Again, they're not being homophobic. I've also seen some people be very upset at the fact that this game features a beautiful female character. Introducing Emile, one of the female characters you can form a romantic relationship with in the game. She is stunning. She is gorgeous. She is beautiful. Fantastic.
Fine as hell.
Looking character, in my opinion.
And actually, I bet you, unlike most other games in the past few years, actually, because usually people, developers over in like Eastern Bloc, not the Western Bloc, that wasn't influenced by Western agendas, actually have the characters look like they're hot ass actresses. If you look at the actresses who played the female characters in Expedition 33, relatively the same. Maybe some minor tweaks in here for the fantasy world. But by and large, you can say, like, you can look at the actress, like, that is definitely Lone. Yep, that's her. Because, like, the actress who played the young girl in E33, I forgot the freaking girl's character name, but when she was on the Game Awards show, when she went to accept an award, that's that character. You look straight in her face and you can, nailed it. You didn't deviate at all. You didn't uglify the character whatsoever, because that's another issue. Some of these developers out there in the past few years has been uglifying their hot actresses just clearly trying to appease a certain demographic who just feels insecure about themselves because they don't look like hot Mary Jane, so they uglify Mary Jane. There was a Vera posted like stuff about, because somebody posted on social media showing the uglified characters in video games and applying like AI stuff, because sometimes you can use AI for the right tool for the job. And I'll have like another video exemplifying that after this, but showing what those characters would look like if you just apply the fact that, yeah, they're known to be hot characters. Don't feel ashamed that you putting beautiful people in your video games. It's market appeal. Just because some slob in like Jersey feeling subconscious because she, couldn't spend time, jogging around the block or going to the gym. So when she feels inclined to play a video game, if at all, she can take it as motivation, or she's gonna start crying on the internet because a particular developer from Sony didn't want to put a character that looks like her in a game so she can feel good about herself instead of like she feels subconscious or whatever. It's just weird. Like, the world doesn't owe you anything, people. It's gonna keep on trucking.
There are people who are saying, with the goal of creating a naturally beautiful female character whose appearance reflects who she is, and the character literally has visible eyeliner, mascara, and lipstick, laughing my ass off. If a beautiful female is this triggering to you, please get some help. And some people are pointing out historical inaccuracies and saying, oh my gosh, how can you support a game like this when it's so inaccurate? The developers have said that Knight's Path is a low fantasy world. There are dragons in this game. Okay, clearly they are not trying to portray the real world. Yes, they are drawing inspiration from the real world for things like architecture and armor, which is really cool, but they've never said it is supposed to be 100% historically accurate. And there are people who are saying, oh my gosh, you chuds never cared about historical accuracy. And they were talking about the Assassin's Creed Shadows situation. With Assassin's Creed Shadows, they boasted about how historically accurate it was and how they consulted tons of people to make sure that that was the case. And clearly the game wasn't historically accurate, so it's a very different situation. But of course, beautiful women are really freaking triggering, and now this is another reason why some people are attacking this
Here's a lot of people,
unpopular
like,
opinion. In the era of virtue signaling hysteria, some women really are beautiful. These people are so desperate for a win that they're going as far as to say that this female character looks like a child, and that if you like her, you might be a disgusting individual. Insane take down. Clearly she does not look like a
25.
Child. People are trying to also say that she looks like AI, which isn't true. And they're saying male game devs are so pathetic and void of creativity, they literally cannot create a female character that doesn't look like she had an Insta account, even in their super realistic medieval Europe game. So they are desperate to find any angle in which they can attack these developers, attack this audience, and it is really hilarious to see because the developers do not care. They are very passionate. They are focused on actually creating content that gamers genuinely want. And, well, the lead developer has made some statements on social media, which are all really great. Another angle, actually, in which people are trying to attack this game is saying it's a copy of Kingdom Come Deliverance. I don't know why they believe that Kingdom Come Deliverance invented swords or jousts or armor, but apparently they believe that that is the case. And, Knight's Path had posted over on X that, yeah, I mean, they do have a lot of respect for Kingdom Come and are genuinely grateful for how it helped show the medieval period and, Middle Ages as they actually were. But Knight's Path, even as a low fantasy world, comes from the same place of respect for history, medieval architecture, and armor. Any similarities do not come from copying, but from drawing from the same real world past. We honestly hope this approach continues to grow and even reaches the movie industry so that one day seeing the 15th century armor will feel as natural as seeing World War II uniforms on screen, not as something copied from another film, but simply as what people truly wore at the time. And they are confident that over time, as they share more materials, and especially once players get their hands on the upcoming demo, it will become clear just how different Knight's Path is as a game compared to Kingdom Come. They've also made some statements about how they are overwhelmed with support. We are honestly absolutely overwhelmed. We never anticipated that the trailer would reach millions of views. The response has been insanely positive, and we cannot thank you enough for the support, feedback, and excitement. Seeing people connect with what we are building means everything to us. Thank you for believing in Knight's Path. We will keep working hard to earn your trust. Right now, we are focusing on a playable demo that truly represents the game, so you will be able to try it yourselves and see whether it is something you might enjoy. And I think that this is a fantastic statement. I think that their approach and the way that they've handled the situation is really fantastic, and well, they are definitely going to get my support in the future. But it's so interesting to see how
and definitely support Knight's Path. Check it out. Definitely support it, just like you guys went out and support Expedition 33. Support Knight's Path so they can get that same level of praise and hype, because they stood on business. I appreciate studios, game developers, comic industry that actually stand on business and not catering to not pandering, not catering to like a small demographic of people that feel some type of way for some just to feel seen, and like try to bully you into like applying whatever they want onto a game that doesn't freaking require it, or a movie or whatever. Definitely they deserve that support from the wide masses, so they can see that we are not tolerating that crap anymore. Not just saying that you, like, if there is like a game or something, like a developer who wants to make a story centered around an LGBT couple or whatever, you can definitely do that. Nobody's denying that they can have that, and every once in a while, you can have like a movie or a comic that have like a supporting character that happens to be gay. That's perfectly fine. What is not fine is just shoving that down people's throats. Is overstepping boundaries. Okay, that doesn't. You don't need to be everywhere. In all facets of life, in all facets of time and space, there are certain things that is not meant for everybody. And you shouldn't be bitching about it, because nobody's saying, because people are saying like, no, I'm not inviting that crap into our stuff. It's not meant for you. You can play it, you can enjoy it, but just because there aren't any gay people in here, you shouldn't be pissing and moaning about it. You don't have to play this game. You don't have to watch this show. You don't have to watch this movie. You don't have to read this comic. It's all your prerogative. But don't sit there and get mad because, like, your demographic isn't everywhere in the zeitgeist. You can make your own movie, make your own video game. You can do all that stuff you want. But don't get also upset because the masses isn't like, because we know that, a gay movie isn't for me. Or isn't for Vara, whatever. It's like, I know it's like, it's not something like I want to like, check out or anything like that, because I don't care. Most people are just indifferent. Yeah, you gay, so what? You like boys, so what? That's how we used to be in the 90s. It's like, yeah, certainly, yeah, your female cousin likes chicks. Okay, But it's just like if they start talking about like you should start liking that same sex because they're into it or whatever. It's a poor example, but you catch my drift. They start overtaking everything instead of just like selling, being satisfied with the fact that they got their own thing going on in their own house, but expect their house to be like everybody's houses. It's just like it's weird.
That some people are on social media over pretty women, that and also the fact that the developers do not want to push a modern day agenda in this game, and so they are desperate to find any angle in which they can attack this team and this game, and clearly it's not working. But man,
I love Shogun. Shogun was amazing. The Japanese Game of Thrones, basically. I love that freaking show.
oh man, are the beautiful
It's the
females and
Japanese lady
lack
that was
of
from
modern day
that, show.
sensibilities really upsetting folks on the internet. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video.
All right, yeah, definitely give your support to Vera Dark because she's amazing. I love her takes. I love her content. She does an amazing work. But anyway, let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Like, do you also agree that certain people, not all the LGBTQ, there are some like reasonable people in that community. So I don't want to blanket statement the entire community, but there's like that small portion that's always the loudest that oversteps, that you believe they're just like overstepping in terms of like fussing about game developers who wants to make beautiful people in their games and want to actually be historically accurate and actually want to tell their own stories that doesn't have any agenda behind it. Like do you think those developers have a right to make whatever kind of game they want and not bow down to every loud minority that voices discomfort? But anyway, curious to know your takes, and I will see you guys in a little bit for some more videos. I got a lot today, so buckle up, buckaroos. I'll see you soon.